mucho agrado, en este día martes quiero presentarles al director del Hub de Inteligencia Artificial del TEC de Monterrey, el doctor Enrique Cortes. Bienvenido, Enrique. Y él nos va a hablar de ciberseguridad en la era de la inteligencia artificial generativa. Tenemos todo el día dedicado a la ciberseguridad. Ayer fue un poco más de temas de género y otros temas más diversos. Así que bienvenido, Enrique. Todo tuyo.
Gracias. ¿Se oye bien?
Perfectamente.
Bueno, ¿pones mi presentación, por favor?
Share my presentation. Guess what? I changed my subject because it was pretty boring. My colleague is going to be tomorrow here, and my colleague is going to be speaking about cybersecurity and the use of LLMs, language models, and this type of things. And I will be speaking about this. And since this is a governance presentation, I will be speaking about a new concept, which is intelligent agents and the governance of these intelligent agents. And I will start like this. It happened some months ago. A company, artisan, posted many ads and signs in San Francisco. Do not call humans. What for? Better bring AI, artificial intelligence. And this caused a shock, but it is true. It is true. So we're going to be speaking about agents. What is bad about speaking about agents in Spanish is that it will not translate well. In English, the word agency means something different than agents. And if you speak about agent, it doesn't translate well. An agency for humans or for machines is what you see there, the capacity to act independently and make decisions to reach objectives. Several things. And then objectives. I have an agency. I can act independently. I do not have to ask anyone. Those are intelligent agents. This is a change of technology. This is what it comes after IA, generative AI, but it is also a marketing topic. It is not as new as we say, because the term 2025, and today we speak about agents. Platforms such as Oracle and SAP have introduced agents. June, Microsoft, Relan, AI agents. And the first thing we have to understand is what we mean by agents. But the relevance here is, why are the agents risky? What are they? Those are systems that react autonomously, and we start to see them. It is not that there are many, but we have the infrastructure to do it. Now, there is a dream that says there are only a few agents, but in a year there are going to be millions, and in 2 years there are going to be thousands of them. So a lot of the work humans do is going to be done by agents. By these agents. There is this report. I do not like it, but it is important, because this report, and many people read it, and it is the Frontier firm. The Frontier firm. This was created by Microsoft, and it says this: today, agents, these are the intelligent things, independent things that make decisions, actual assistants to humans. Here you have a human, here you have an agent, and we all use ChatGPT and all those things. But the stage 2 is many agents being supervised by a human. So you're going to be the boss of agents. It is an interesting term, agent boss. And then stage 3 is when you have the mix of human agents interacting, and maybe your boss is someone who is not human. So this is a change of paradigm, because today you say to the companies have a hierarchy. This is the boss of this, and this is the employee of this. But in the future, it could be that maybe your boss is going to be someone who is not a human, all this is going to be mixed. And if you come from human resources, imagine what it means. And it is possible. It is a possible scenario. How does all this thing works? Because it is already working. The first thing is today this is happening because of generative and models. So you have generative AI, but then what you need to rational. And some of you who know about generative AI, you know that there are models that can think or have a rationale. If you ask me something, I can tell you where the answer is coming from. Speaking about generative AI, and then workflow, and then a sequence of events, and then this is to be executed, and something has to come out of this. So imagine an artificial intelligence agent, and if you say, I want to buy a car, and then the agent is going to review in the web and internet to look for a car like the one you want. And then when it is found, I will send you a WhatsApp message, and it will say, I already found this Jetta Volkswagen, the color you want. Without human intervention, this is an agent. What is a chain of rationale? Why is it needed? If you use a ChatGPT, you're going to get an answer. But there are LLM models. It tells you where this was taken from, what is the rationale behind the answer. DeepSeek can do this. OpenAI. Play with this. Play with this. So how does it work? You have LLMs, ChatGPT, for example, LLM, and those things in order to work, they need to have this rationale, and then they need to take an action, and then they need to store things. They need memory. So if you open this box, you will find a type of LLM, a type of memory, and then this uses tools, and it is connected to systems. We call it scaffolding, which is a scaffolding today in order to become an agent. Code is needed, and there are companies that sell this scaffolding. You go with the vendor, you buy the scaffolding, and then you connect to an LLM, and then you will get an agent. And agents will be able to take actions, to plan, and they should be able to have a memory, long-term, short-term memory, and then this will get connected with something else. And I am saying independent. So there are two different views. On the one hand, utopia, the utopia. Agents will be working for me, so I will be more productive. And then you have the terrible side that says there are going to be billions of agents without human supervision. It is going to be a disaster. And what if we all get killed? Well, the truth is that it is not true. There's no true. And where is it? What do agents do today? Today, agents, they actually do customer service. In fact, there is a change of terminology. Last year, people were speaking about chatbots, bots, and if you ask IBM or technology companies, they will tell you chatbot is old. Today we speak about agents, but it is the same. It is the old chatbots. What do they do today? Customer service, clerk or assistants, office assistants. The thing is that there are only a few examples which are shallow, but we're starting to see interesting things, for example, in supply chain. It is said that it is 30%, 30 times more economical, and only a few measures are available. But I've seen agents. For every peso that you invest, you will get 10 pesos or $10. Yes, agents are business effective, and yes, they are faster than humans. But today they are not that flexible. They are not very adaptable, and in long-lasting assignments because it takes days. So today it is a type of chatbot, which is a little bit more advanced. What do these agents do today? They mainly do e-commerce. They assist in e-commerce. They also help in customer service. They also help in the office. I have a conflict. This office, this meeting, I would like to have it at this time instead of at this time. And we start to see risks. And this is where governance is. When this is doing a very complex things without human intervention, there is a risk, specifically if they interact with many systems, and if they interact amongst themselves. And this is an actual risk. This is true. There is a company, a Solid Gold Bomb. This company is an agent, and he was interested in the social media to see what is there, and then taking phrases from the social media and producing T-shirts with things coming from the social media without human intervention. And it was possible to buy them in Amazon, and there was not a stock, and they were printed as they were bought. All this started very well because at that moment there was a TV show, and in the T-shirts we were able to see what we were seeing in those. But suddenly, this agent started to produce T-shirts. What do you think about that T-shirt? And there were differences. Come and hit her. Things like violence, racism, and terrible things. Why? Do you know how this got discovered? Because someone complained with Amazon, how come you're selling this junk? Solid gold bond. This is what the society says, but it doesn't exist. So you can see how dangerous agents are without being supervised. I was selling sexist and racist T-shirts, but what if you use this in medicine? If you use this in government and it comes out of control, that is a problem. Do you know when this happened? 2025. 2024. 10 years ago. Agents have existed for 10 years. Today we're more sophisticated. And this is happening all the time. So we're speaking about governance. If there are going to be millions of agents independent, looking for their own objectives, there should be governance. The first thing we need to know is how many agents there are and what they do. It is the least we can do. The most sophisticated will be to know what agents will be doing. And then we need to create risk models to say things such as, that agent, don't do it. It is dangerous. And then we at Tech, we have built many artificial intelligence models that you will call them agents. And to me, what happens is very dangerous. Agents without human intervention, you should always have the term we use, human in the loop. Someone needs to see not everything people do, but they need to supervise what the agent does to see it is not out of control. And what do we do at what level? First, agents should be designed to take care of themselves. They should include elements such as cybersecurity. You're going to see strange things that those agents should have, and we should also have human governance. The review boards, agents cannot do illegal things. Yes, they can, but they should not do illegal things. They should not do things which are not ethical. I can tell you for sure that bad people in the society are using agents. I can tell you that for sure. So what do? We get protected against that. Let me see, how am I doing in terms of time? So which are the challenges to use artificial intelligence agents? First, how we measure the performance of these people, how do we know what they do. And if we're speaking about thousands and thousands of agents, it is like trying to understand, for example, you know that internet traffic, you know what is most of the traffic in internet? Email messages, video. And you know what is behind this video? Guess what it is? So a lot of internet traffic is video and pornography. Why? Because this is how humans are, unfortunately. Now imagine understanding all video traffic across internet and to understand what each video is doing. It is almost impossible. Even Chinese people are trying to do their best. So we need to understand what this is all about. And then the question is if a special regulation is going to be needed for intelligence agents. You should know that in Mexico, there is no artificial intelligence legislation, and in many Latin American countries, there is no regulation. And if there is no regulation, then less for intelligent agents. So this is the Wild West. Today, we're all doing what we can as we can, and we rely on governance. We rely on governance, and there are people who are proposing agents. Agents should be taking care of themselves and to have other agents looking at them, supervising them. But yes, but who is going to govern agents who are controlling other agents? It would be kind of strange, wouldn't it be? Strange. And which are the interventions we can have in this governance of agents? The first thing is that these agents, the objective is to be aligned to human values or ethically correct values. The current methods are not enough. Do you know what it is the meaning of LLHF? It is like the generative LLMs, which is humans correcting and seeing. This is why LLMs like ChatGPT do not make terrible things, because there are humans correcting the errors and their omissions and their hallucinations. Let's assume there is an agent with millions of users, and it is adjusting the risk according to the user, my needs, my age, etc. How do you know that what it is doing is good if you are not supervising that? You do not know, so it can be a fatal error. Alignment, intervention, control to restrict the performance of people, mainly those who have very serious consequences if you use agents. It's better to align that to the objectives and to restrict them. It is like the agents who do things, very strategic things. They should have a back dog where it is possible to pay for this. You cannot let a danger there. It comes in the design of people, and there's nothing else. So it should be a control. There should be a control, and there should be a possible shutdown of dangerous agents. Visibility. There are millions of things which are intelligent things, but if they work independently, the challenge is that this will work at an amazing speed, and it's difficult to follow up millions and millions of things doing something. So, for example, today there is a danger of trading in finance because it is full of agents and bots doing trading in real time. So this is actually dangerous, very dangerous. People who know about finance, it is dangerous. Now, these agents, thousands of them, could be attacked by others. You can have a war in 10 million people, and this is creating more vulnerable points of cybersecurity. It is a pretty dynamic surrounding, so these things have to be tested carefully in a controlled sandbox environment, and they need to operate in the world. These things that I just mentioned, this and this and this and this, are theory only, but we need to make them a reality. Today, there are agents operating in the world without a switch. We do not know if they're aligned to human interests. We do not know if those objectives are aligned not even with law, because there is no law. So there are more questions than answers. I do this and I have more questions than answers. We do not know. We know how to build them, but we haven't built them because only a few for next year. Last year I told you there were a few, very limited. But this year, 1 billion agents in the world. It is possible, very probable. So how do we assess that? Which are the interventions we need to build? I can tell you this for sure. We do not get that. And there are going to be agents who are going to be policing other agents, and lots of people believe yes. How to supervise thousands and thousands of people, we do not know, but agents have to do something. Imagine the police of agents when speaking about thousands of them. So we are in the tip of the iceberg speaking about intelligent agents. So what is my call to action here? First, study all these things. Just Google intelligent agents and see what is the result, and you're going to see an amazingly interesting action field. You can create your own agency, how they work. Participate in the governance of these agents, help others understand this, and it is very important to have debates on this because it can be out of control seriously. We're not speaking about science fiction, short term, 2025, 2026, things that can be out of control, just like the t-shirts that I showed to you. But instead of t-shirts, what if it is only financial systems or things like that? This is something serious. And this is it, and then we're going to have questions, and that is me. What do you know, or what do you want to know about agents, risks of agents, governance? This is the boom today. Would you please give her the microphone? Good morning. My name is Fernando Bustos, and I come from the Ministry of Communications in Colombia. And my question is, it is evident that for the stages where you are speaking about we need to be prepared in Latin America, speaking about regulation, I have a short question. What country could be an advanced role model in terms of regulations? One we could take as a reference in our region. To me, Europe. But Europe, if you see, doesn't speak about agents and thousands of agents. It speaks about layers. This is not allowed. What you should never be done is this. Agents should never be used to commit crimes or kill people. Then the regulated layer. Agents, some applications, such as the medical applications, this is to be regulated by someone. And then we have all these things and agents, phone, streaming, memes, use agents. It doesn't matter. So it is a priority pyramid. It is going to be very useful, like a framework, and which have to adapt it to our own reality. In Mexico, I do not know what happens in Colombia, but in Mexico we did progress in legislative process. The legislature changed, and we're starting all over again. So for our legislators to understand this, it will take some time for our because those who are dedicated to this are barely learning it. So technology is making a faster progress than the legislation. It is not a nice answer, but this is the way it is. Hi. I'm from Venezuela, Janina. Thanks for your very interesting presentation. My question has to do with data and data streaming. Since you have the prompt, they're having the different agents. I really like the example of the car, buying a car. If I tell people, look, I want to buy a car, this is my information, this is my data, go ahead. So I will be going to different agents. It will go to the one that is going to do my credit study, and what happens to my data if I have my credit number and my social security number. What happens to data given to agents? Who can tell me for sure what is going to be data privacy? If something that goes to that specific agent, data are better regulated than the actions of agents. I do not know in Venezuela, but in Mexico there is a personal data protection law. When you share your data to people, that data should be protected by a regulator. And then you say, yes, I want you to share this and this, but not this. For example, it is you will choose how to use them. They are protected. Unfortunately, what we do, and we do this in phone apps. Look, there is a new app and I do not know what it does. And then the thing is going to ask you, you want to read my terms and conditions? And what do we say? All of them. And then we didn't see that your biometrics are going to be sold to China. Thanks for participating. The same will happen to agents. You're going to see, look how useful, how practical. You want to read terms and conditions? No, that is the danger. And then multiply that, because your data are going to be in the financial company, in the car dealership, and in the traffic authorities without any type of control. Fortunately, data are more regulated than the others. Are there more questions? Good morning, Enrique. Thanks for... Where are you? Where are you? And there is a question here, and there is a question here. I study law here in Santa Fe, and I have more public policy questions. I would love to do a regulation of emergent technologies, but here's the thing. Can we actually regulate these technologies that advance so quickly? And I have another question. Yesterday, in one of the fora, we were speaking about job replacement, artificial intelligence or AI agents. They will be replacing millions of jobs globally. And there's going to be a new market in the supervision of all this. And I believe specialized labor is needed, and I would like to know what is going to happen to the trailer driver who cannot be educated. And maybe the person could, what if we control these technologies, and in the case of a specialization, who is going to be paying for the education of all these people because they do not have money for that? I will be brief with your question. ChatGPT has existed for 2.5 years. Generative AI, and you say 2.5 years, and what others said 2.5 years ago, they were speaking about losing jobs. But if you see what is being published, everything is projections towards the future. But it's been 2.5 years, and this is intriguing to me. And I will give an interesting response. You know how many jobs have been lost in the United States because of artificial intelligence? In other words, what do you think? What is the percentage of jobs getting lost? Of all the jobs lost, which are 0.05% in 2 years, nothing. Because there is more collaboration than substitution, and there are other phenomena we are not understanding. And my concern is the type of agent and technology. This will be able to do the most basic work, in legal terms. My concern is that those basic jobs were taken by who? By the new graduates. This is my concern. Having less new hires because of all this, because it is fast, efficient, and economical. How come lawyers, for example, is going to be replaced by this? It wouldn't make sense to me, but it is a potentially actual problem. Is it possible to legislate something that is advancing so fast? You will not legislate what doesn't exist or the trends, because what I just told you may fail, and you're going to see agents failed, but what do we have today should be legislated. Good morning, Elizabeth Tenorio, Legal Director. My question is focus on emerging technologies and what we see, the Internet of Things, and the regulation includes activities which are that fit law, which are part of the legal aspect. Talking to the European Union, what do we miss? What do we need to adjust so that we can start looking ahead? We do not want to over legislate and to say there is another law. And that same adjustment that comes from the European Union. Let's remember that in Mexico we have different legal traditions and a different culture. Yes, because we have the AI project. What things can Mexico take to make progress? Because we might not have a specific law, but we have a secondary regulation. Look, what I would like to say, there are things that should not happen with agents or AI. And this is a tool that can be used for good or for bad. And I will give you an example. Something that should be regulated is medical use. There are many cheap fraud people who say I will be the psychiatry for AI, but that should never happen. It should at least be regulated, if not banned. And of course, if you are using this in order to look for targets to then commit crimes, then it should be banned. And so I will start with the obvious. It should not be never be used to commit a crime, and things if the health and life of humans could be in danger, all these things should be regulated. This is my beginning. I have two more questions. One has been answered. It has to do with the participation of younger people and the replacement of jobs by artificial intelligence. This is in English and I will translate it on the fly. How to mitigate all the risks associated to artificial intelligence risks. Can agents be modeled or formatted in a way that the rational could be explained as an artificial intelligence that is going to be explained? Would it help to mitigate risks? Yes, but many of the models we use today, there are models that cannot explain the performance. My accuracy is 99%, but I will fail by 1%, but I cannot tell you why. So we have explainability. We are all pushing towards explainability, but sometimes when systems fail, there is no explanation, and this is a big question. Thanks. Thanks. Very, very interesting presentation. I have two comments. I am a lawyer as well. My name is Gaby Salazar. And law can regulate human behaviors. And in that context, I believe that if we discuss artificial intelligence and other technologies, it gets lost in the complexity of technology. And if we go to the basic, we can always go back to human behavior. You said something. according to my opinion, what can be done from regulation and something that could be very effective and something that the European regulation has done very good with the ISO standards is to determine some banned behaviors and other behaviors that should always be monitored. And at the end of the day, technology will will make more progress without being limited by a regulation, because there is clarity that you can only sanction human beings. There's clarity about this. So who is going to start all this? When you spoke about the action plan, who develops that agent? This is the responsibility. Speaking about personal data protection, the same would happen. Each model, each LLM you use, whether or not your data will be used, we do not know that. So it is just a reminder that when we speak about all these topics, when we speak about regulation, we speak about human behaviors. And the second very important comment for those who do public policy is that they need to approach people like you, experts, because if the regulator doesn't get it, there's going to be a regulation error. Yes, I agree. And these are tools used by humans. It is a very sophisticated hammer. Something that is kind of different that legislators have to understand is that there is an aim, and it will be pursued without human supervision. The builder leave it there, and good luck. And that is different. We have to understand it. Yes, but the regulation needs to give the agency to the builder. Yes, you build it, and sometimes the deficiency is not something we're aware of because of the issue of explainability. That's it. And we are waiting for the virtual presenters, and we can keep talking. I was thinking about the 005 in the United States. My son lives in Europe, and each time I go to stores, it will not be a job. There are no clerks in the stores. There's only one person who gets something he would like to return. HM, big stores, or is that there are less and less people? It is not artificial intelligence per se. I believe it is more elemental technology, but I do believe there is an important replacement in that type of jobs, at least in supermarkets. We do not see this that much in Latin America. In Europe, we do. But look, 2 years ago, I would have told you that this is going to be replacing call centers. And it hasn't happened. And what we were not waiting for, and this is causing a shock in the industry of software development. We would think it is a pretty intellectual industry, and this is where the shock is happening, not at the call centers. And I ask people, and it is because of the labor aspect, law aspect, and a legal aspect, and it's not possible to replace humans. So we're being surprised by this. Thank you so much. Thanks so much. Very interesting. I was thinking about the regulation. It is difficult to regulate what is yet to come, but we need to do something. Something is needed. But that's the way it is. It is a challenging world. Thanks. Thanks so much. We will continue.